Can we stop complaining about Top Thrill 2 now? Hello everyone and welcome to the first of potentially many XLRants, a series where I literally just rant about things that bother me in the coaster industry. And today, we're going to be talking about Top Thrill 2, specifically all the reliability problems with Top Thrill 2, as well as Hyperia and Voltron and basically every single new coaster that's released this year. This is a more off-the-cuff series where I just kind of talk without a script about my opinions and such. But I've been trying different ideas in the past for lower commitment content, things that don't require as much editing, because I really do enjoy making, the elegy videos, the coaster crash courses, stuff like that. But they are a huge time commitment, and unfortunately I'm a poor grad student. I just don't have a lot of time to fully devote to get these videos out as quickly as I want them to, but I want to give you guys something, so let me know what you think about this whole video series. If you don't like it, I totally understand, and we can kind of call it at this. But if you enjoyed it, let me know, and feel free to give me any advice you might have for future video submissions, because I'm happy to take any of it. I'm playing with this, but I think this will be fun. So I figured I'd have something on in the background here to distract you from just my face as I just rant incoherently for minutes at a time. So I decided to kick off the old roller coaster tycoon, and today we're going to make a wooden coaster as we talk and rant about our subject, which for today is about Top Thrill 2. Well, not just Top Thrill 2, it's also about Hyperia, it's also about Voltron. Pretty much any coaster that has opened up this year has had some sort of reliability issues. It just seems like a cursed year for rides. And obviously Top Thrill 2 is probably the most significant and prominent example, but there are plenty of other rides that are having pretty bad teething issues. This whole video is kind of kicked off by the massive backlash that Cedar Point got recently, because I'm recording this pretty much right after they had their press release revealing that Top Thrill 2 wasn't going to be open for Coaster Mania, that it's going to be down for a little while, and people just were absolutely apoplectic. They were freaking out about it. People I'm going to cancel my trip to Cedar Point now. What's the point of going to Cedar Point if you don't have this single new attraction? Which come on. But I'll get into that a little bit more later. But Top Thrill 2 is far from the only example. People are complaining and making jokes about Hyperia. It's just a wild jungle out there. And I think the reason that we're having so many issues with the rides this year is because the big high-profile roller coasters that are opening up are trying something new. They're innovative rides that are either kind of first tries from a new manufacturer or just something that's never been done before. And in Top Thrill 2's case, both. There's never been a 400-foot swing launch LSM strata done by anyone before, so not only is it Zamperla's first time, it's the world's first time we're seeing anything like this. And you can have your issues with the choice of manufacturer, but that's a talk for a different day. Yeah. Pretty much every ride this year is pushing the envelope. We talked about Top Thrill 2 just now. Hyperia, Mach has made Hypers before, but Hyperia is a wicked ride with the crazy lift hill, the crazy structure. It's definitely trying something new, and Voltron, which I've heard has had not as many issues, but one of the trains valleyed earlier this year in testing. There have been some reliability issues, and I heard that the trains have been extremely rough for whatever reason. Some of the trains, initially after opening. I just watched the El Toro Ryan video about it, where he talks about the complexity of Voltron, and Jesus Christ, that might be the most complicated roller coaster in the world. So I think that very much deserves every bit of slack. But yeah, anytime a ride tries something new, you're going to have problems, and I have examples here to kind of bring up what I'm talking about here. The first example that I thought of is Premier Rides, because if we go back to the initial kind of spiritual predecessor to the current modern LSM swing launch, Flight of Fear, and all those original Premier Spaghetti Bowl coasters. Those were all reliability nightmares, and some of them very much continue to be. Flight of Fear has been around for a while, but still has reliability issues, and rides like Possessed and that sort of thing are just disasters. So that was trying something new. It was an innovative concept, and it wasn't surprising that there were reliability issues. Think about the Intimate Accelerator too, like another ride that is basically cut from the same cloth as Top Thrill 2, aka forming its base. Damn, this curve is a little tough. We're working on that. Yeah, Intimate Accelerators, even the ones that are still open, are also horrible reliability nightmares. I've been to Six Flags Great Adventure enough to know that Kingda Ka can be an absolute disaster. And all of them, like Storm Runner, like all of them, you know? They're just not reliable, but they were trying something new. And then you have new manufacturers trying a proven concept, and I go to Steel Curtain for this, which maybe isn't the best example because Steel Curtain has problems of its own, let's just say. Ooh, you think I got this? No, I don't got this. That's a shame. Alright, rip. We'll just do something simple. But yeah, Steel Curtain is probably the most famous example of a reliability disaster. And it's a modern ride, but it was the first time that S&S was trying anything like it. So yeah, even though it was just a basic, simple looper with a chain lift, they had problems with it because it was their first time trying the concept. So there's precedent for having issues with rides like this, you know, rides that new manufacturers are trying, rides that are pushing the envelope with something. Even more straightforward rides have teething issues too, and I think people just kind of forget about these teething issues as time moves on, basically, because if a ride has initial teething issues and they go away, like, people stop talking about it because it doesn't matter anymore. So, I come back to Jersey Devil. I went to Jersey Devil for, like, the opening day, kind of like the, not the media day thing, but like pass holder preview, and I waited 2 hours for the ride, even though there were like 60 people on the line, maybe. It was a reliability nightmare. It was down like the whole day. There were issues with the trains, there were issues with the block zones, there were issues with the chain lift. It was a complete mess. But, you know, RMC came on for the first month. It was pretty unreliable. But eventually they figured it out. And now Jersey Devil runs like very reliably pretty much all of the time. It runs multiple trains. It never has issues with the moving station. Like, they fixed it with Jersey Devil. And just because a ride has initial teething issues does not mean that the manufacturers did a bad job. There's a very strong chance that in the time span of a month, Zamperla will have fixed the issue with the wheel bogies or the bearings or whatever the hell is going on with Top Thrill 2, and it runs reliably for the next 2-3 decades with no problems. I think that's legitimately... Oh yeah. Oh, we got it. Just barely, but we got it. Yeah, we got it. But yeah, I think there's a strong non-zero chance that Top Thrill 2 might just run perfectly well for the next few years after they fix the initial teething issues, because, like I said, this is Zamperla's first try, and I'm sure that it's hard to get the wheel compound right on a ride that goes 120 miles an hour. You know, it doesn't seem like there were any issues with the launches, it doesn't seem like there were any issues with the track work, it doesn't seem there were like any issues with the controls. So I think that once this gets fixed, I think we're good. I think it's done. And hopefully it'll continue to work for all of our sakes for decades to come, like problem-free. But yeah, we're a little spoiled these days. You know, back in the day, I don't want to sound like a boomer here, but like, you know, 20, 30 years ago, like, massive modifications to new coasters were pretty much the norm. You know, if you go back to like the days of old Woodies and Arrows and stuff like that, it was pretty much expected that you were gonna have to close down rides for an extended period of time to make modifications right after it opens, because roller coasters are massive engineering projects with tons of moving parts and a lot of things that can go wrong. You know, even more modern examples, obviously Steel Curtain. Steel Curtain's like its own can of worms, so I don't want to use it too much. I don't want to get too much into it. Oh, we ran out of money. That's good. I'm just gonna cheat in some money. Don't tell your parents that I did that. But yeah, another example is Intimidator 305. Intimidator 305 is a modern roller coaster. It was made with the help of computer-aided design, but it had to be closed down and had massive modifications made to it after its first year because there were issues with the ride. And so, you know, even if we're used to B&Ms just like working reliably for long periods of time, like, these aren't B&Ms, these are new rides. And like I said, they're massive engineering projects with tons of moving parts, and we're spoiled by modern design techniques, you know. If it takes a couple months to figure things out and the end product is good, that's what really matters, right? What matters is the end product. It's not the initial teething issues. Sure, people might want to get on the ride early, I get that. But if the end product is good and it works for the next few decades, That's the important thing. So yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is people like canceling trips over their Top Thrill 2 closures, and my opinion of that is you're lost, buddy. Like, Cedar Point is one of, if not the best roller coaster parks in the country, with just amazing rides just besides Top Thrill 2. You know, Steel Vengeance, Magnum, Millennium Force, Maverick, Raptor, Gatekeeper, Blue Streak, all of these incredible rides. And I think it's a little foolish to act like a single mistake, I guess you could call it, would completely ruin a trip, because I don't think you should think of trips that way. There's so much else that Cedar Point has to offer, and I think you're really robbing yourself of a great experience if you let the closure of Top Thrill 2 really bring you down. Like, last year, I went to Kennywood, and Steel Curtain was closed, because of course it was closed, and I wasn't sad about it, because you know what? Yeah, it would have been cool to get the credit, but Kennywood still has so many other amazing things to offer. Great Woodies, Phantom's an incredible ride, and I had an awesome time. And I'll be going to Cedar Point in July, and I very much expect that Top Thrill 2 will not be open. And I don't really care, because Cedar Point's an amazing park, and I love Magnum, and I'm gonna ride it like 20 times and have the greatest time in the world. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Don't let ride closures kind of ruin your trips. I think there's so much more these parks have to offer. It's understandable to be a little bit disappointed, but I think you have to understand that these rides are very new, they're kind of breaking the mold, they're trying something different, and I think some teething issues are to be expected. And sure, if in like 3 years all these rides are still having problems, then we can come back and complain about it, but again, what matters here is the end product. It's not necessarily the initial issues. If they can get the end product working, we'll have great rides for decades to come, and that's what we really want here, right? So yeah, that's basically my first rant. Let me know what you think about it in the comments if you agree or disagree. I'm sure plenty of people happen to disagree with me, which is fine, but let me know what you think about the video format. Like I said, this is trying something new. I'm willing and open to different ideas. Maybe I just like have my face there the whole time and do some small edits and cuts, or if you like the Roller Coaster Tycoon thing in the background, we can keep doing that. Give me your thoughts and ideas, because I definitely have a lot of opinions that I'm willing to share, and I hope that you all enjoy them, and I hope that you're willing to hear them, because then I'll be happy to continue to do these kind of between more intense videos. Don't worry, I'm definitely working on these videos. I'm working on an elegy for the next, coaster, which I've kind of revealed, but I don't want to reveal too aggressively, but it's a 4,500 word script, so it might be a while. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and as always, just thank you.